The South Today Bulletin, proudly brought to you in association with MoleMap, the skin cancer detection specialists.
Tonight on the South Today, a body has been retrieved from Christchurch's Avon River after contractors stumbled on the grim discovery. The Te Pukenga super polytech has been stopped in its tracks. The new government plans to return to a local focus. And an unusual family heirloom goes on display in Middlemarch after some underwater adventures. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Simon Henderson. A body has been found in Christchurch's Avon River this morning. Police and emergency services were called to the North Hagley Park location late morning after contractors made the grisly find.
Police searching a riverbank for clues after a body was found in the Avon River in central Christchurch. Emergency services including police, Fens and St John were rushed to the location near North Hagley Park, off Riccarton Ave, around 11 o'clock on Friday morning. Police officers quickly cordoned off the area, bringing stretchers, gumboots and waders into the location to begin work. It's understood contractors working in the area made the grisly find in the river at the Botanic Gardens. Police confirmed they will keep the cordon up until late afternoon, but at this stage they say there was nothing to suggest the death is suspicious. In Christchurch, the South Today.
A past chairman of the Otago Regional Council believes they were hoodwinked by the previous government, who pushed the organisation into a corner to complete its land and water plan. Former Labour Environment Minister David Parker told the Otago Regional Council its freshwater planning wasn't fit for purpose. He ordered them to be the first in the country to write a new land and water plan under Labour's National Policy Statement for Freshwater Management. But Otago Regional Councillor Andrew Noon feels the Labour government forced them to focus on the clock rather than the science behind its plan to manage Otago's natural resources. The new coalition government has promised changes to freshwater management, taking a more localised approach to allow councils more flexibility. However, not all Otago councillors agree with the change in direction. Some believe the ORC's previous plan would have helped improve the natural environment. The final round of community feedback was recently completed, with councillors due to be presented with a draft plan next week. Super Institute Te Pukenga has halted its multi-million-dollar transformation, leaving the future of hundreds of staff hanging in the balance. The new government has already begun the process of disestablishing the organisation, which combined polytechs and workplace training providers in January.
The coalition government is working quickly after the 54th Parliament was sworn in this week, sending new instructions to Mega Polytechnic Te Pukenga as part of an ambitious 100-day plan. Tertiary Education Minister Penny Simmonds says it's no longer a government priority to centralise vocational training and education. She wants Te Pukenga to review jobs across the organisation, formed in January through the merger of 16 polytechs and 9 workplace training providers, including Otago Polytech and SIT. Simmonds says a lot of money's been spent employing people at a bloated head office, and the setup wasn't delivering the promised efficiencies. The new government plans to replace Te Pukenga with 8 to 10 institutions around the country, with decisions on staffing to be done at a regional level. The institute is now considering what the change of direction will mean for around 200 newly hired staff, and those due to be made redundant. The Tertiary Education Union says the move is very unsettling for workers after 5 years of vocational education reform. Across the South Today.
Demolition plans for a series of derelict Dunedin buildings may take longer than initially expected, with some work having to be carried out by hand. The rundown buildings along Princess and Stafford Street will now require manual demolition to ensure the safety of workers and the nearby area. Contractors will start carefully dismantling the building by hand to remove the risk of debris falling outside the cordoned-off site fencing area. The project was originally set to take around 10 weeks to complete, but the work is facing setbacks after a significant portion of facade masonry collapsed last month. The delays have now pushed the completion date out to March next year. Sirens were flashing in the spirit of the holiday season last night in Dunedin for the annual Christmas can and food drive. More than 200 volunteers from emergency service crews were cruising the Dunedin streets, collecting cans of food for those in need. The teams patrolled through Dunedin city and surrounding suburbs with their sirens blaring, encouraging people out to their front gates to donate whatever non-perishable goods they could. Mosgiel and surrounding suburbs had their own food drive on Monday night. All the cans collected from the 2 nights will be delivered to local food banks. The goods donated help create a stockpile for the entire year, with any dry goods going to those in need in time for the Christmas and holiday season. While many people like to brag about their family car, boat or holiday home, one Middlemarch man is going one step further, showing off his family's submarine. Pete Sparrow admits the Platypus Submarine is looking a little worse for wear, but is set to be unveiled in a new public display.
Looking a bit like something from outer space, a century and a half down the line. This 10-metre-long iron plate platypus submarine is no longer watertight, but considering it's 150 years old, that isn't too much of a surprise. The machine was built by a team including the great-grandfather of Strathtiety Historical Society member Pete Sparrow. The sub has now been partially restored and moved to its new home in Middlemarch.
We're having a relaunch because it's as close as we can get to 150 years since it was first launched off the end of the Rattray Street Wharf. Huge event in town, you know, anyone was there.
The submarine was originally designed to dig and sluice gold from Otago riverbeds and was first launched with much fanfare in Otago Harbour. And it didn't just serve its purpose underwater before ending up back here in Middlemarch. The watercraft spent years beached on land at an Otago sheep and cattle station.
And a farmer from Bearwood Reefs, very close to Middlemarch here, thought, well, submarine keeps water in, keeps water out, I guess it will keep water in as well. So he bought it and he used the rear half of it as a water tank.
Sparrow says the Platypus is one of the 6 oldest surviving submarines across the world. His family's craft is set to be unveiled in its new Strathtiety Historical Society enclosure at a ceremony on Sunday. In Middlemarch, the South Today.
Now, still to come on the South Today, a test to find which kids are tough enough to be active, and we look back at some of the big stories from March this year.
Such a sweet girl. What are you dreaming about?
Just music.
The Power of Dreams by Honda.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Here at Age Concern Otago, we offer a range of services to support Otago seniors to age well with dignity and independence. We provide social work support, visiting service, health promotion and social activities. Check out what we have on offer at ageconcernotago.com.
Stuff your stocking! Up to 50% off, plus pay it off interest-free. John's Furniture Warehouse, Stafford Street, and online at mymatejohn.co.nz.
My Mate John.
Welcome to Collections 23!
Welcome back. More than 5,000 eager Christchurch schoolchildren raced to see who was the toughest as they ran, walked and crawled their way through a 3.5 kilometre long obstacle course. The challenging end-of-year Tough Kid event was aimed at encouraging kids to be more active and to get outdoors.
These active kids are vying to see who is the toughest of them all. The annual Tough Kid Challenge was held in Christchurch's South New Brighton domain on Wednesday and Thursday, attracting more than 5,000 children from 50 primary and intermediate schools across Canterbury. The kids were encouraged to wear fancy dress as they negotiated foam and gunge along the 18-obstacle 3.5 kilometre course.
It's not about becoming first, second or third. The kids are just dressing up, having a great day and just enjoying the course with their mates.
And the New Brighton Volunteer Fire Brigade were on hand to cool the children down with little squirts from the fire hose. The Tough Kid Challenge was conceived in 2012 after the Christchurch earthquakes ruined sporting facilities and left many sport clubs without a home.
We started as a one-day event and now we're with a two-day event, so we've got spread it over 2 days and we would hope to do a third if we get the numbers that high.
The fun event is aimed at challenging kids to stay active, help build resilience, reduce their screen time and improve their mental health.
Cool bit of teamwork, so it's obviously really challenging. It's as challenging as they want it, which is cool. They get to meet kids from other schools, so they're making like friendships or reconnecting.
Wilson says the two-day event was a fun way to celebrate the end of the school year. And while the kids all had a great time, parents might not be as happy, with washing machines set to be working overtime to clean all the wet and muddied clothes. In Christchurch, the South today.
Now we continue our look back at highlights from the year's news. March brought a fight back against proposed Dunedin hospital cuts, protests for better pay and more housing, along with international sports action in golf and yachting.
An investigation into a drive-by shooting in Dunedin in early March brought an arrest, with a 25-year-old man charged with attempted murder. The month saw a period of protests across the south, teachers going on strike for better pay and conditions, while in Queenstown workers rallied against the growing housing crisis in the resort town. Dunedin city councillors ramped up their health campaign, They Save, We Pay, after Te Ora announced $90 million worth of budget cuts to plans for the new hospital build.
The redesign of the inpatient building has pushed the timetable out to a 2029 opening, and where it was a 2028 opening, there's no change to the delivery date for the outpatient building.
As March brought the start of autumn, heavy rain and gale force winds rattled Dunedin, causing power cuts in parts of the city and uprooting trees. But some international sports people were making the most of the finer days as the New Zealand Golf Open swung into action in Queenstown. Meanwhile, Littleton starred on the international sailing stage, showcasing high-speed action on the harbour as the town hosted the inaugural New Zealand Sail Grand Prix. Down south, Waikaka successfully trialled a new rugby 10s tournament, and in Dunedin, excitement ramped up ahead of the FIFA Women's World Cup with a day of football for young women.
The girls start to see it. If they can see it, they believe that it's coming, and then they get really excited and they go home, they want to buy tickets, they want to get involved, they want to play football.
It was food and drink season in the south, with the Southland Multicultural Food Festival, weird bites at the Hokitika Wild Food Festival, and a celebration of the vineyards in Wanaka's Ripe Wine and Food Festival.
And also set in this beautiful picturesque Wanaka location, showing off Central Otago.
Meanwhile, Irish Spirit took over Dunedin as students dressed up in their greenest attire to mark St Patrick's Day. Across the South today.
Now recapping tonight's top stories on the South today. A body has been retrieved from Christchurch's Avon River, but police aren't treating the death as suspicious. The Te Pukenga polytech merger is set to be reversed, with the new government returning to a more local focus. And a 150-year-old Platypus Submarine has re-emerged in Middlemarch, going on display at the local museum to celebrate its first launch. Now a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT with Associate Editor Mike Houlihan. Mike, what have you got for us?
Evening, Simon. Big mix again tomorrow. I've got a story of a couple who, as well as battling health issues, have now battling issues with their builder as well and may not be able to build their dream home, which is sad for them. We've spoken to Josh Cronfeld, former great All Black and Otago representative, about the effects of concussion on rugby players in the modern day. We're following up yesterday's story about the campers who are facing eviction at the Tyree Plains to discover what happened to them. Best of sports news, of course, and our big sports section on a Saturday, plus the feature magazine, The Mix, also appears.
Yeah, that concussion story, that's been a big one, hasn't it, for rugby players?
Yeah, no, it's a big read. It's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff. Time now to take a look at the weather.
The South Today weather, proudly brought to you by MoleMap, the skin cancer detection specialists.
Looking at the general situation, we're expecting a sharp trough of low pressure to move over the southern districts later tomorrow and into Sunday. This means widespread rain and strong winds are on the way. Moving to the top of the South Island, in Nelson expect fresh northwesterlies with high cloud and a high of 25 degrees. Over in Greymouth it'll be a cloudy day with moderate northerlies reaching up to 19 degrees, and in Christchurch those northwesterlies will be freshening, bringing high cloud and a high of 27 degrees. Travelling to South Canterbury and North Otago, Ashburton will see strong northwesterlies with high cloud. Timaru is expecting gusty northwesterlies and high cloud, and in Oamaru it'll be similar conditions with strong northwesterlies and high cloud. Heading westwards to the Central Lakes, Wanaka and Queenstown will both experience northwesterly gales and showers. Alexandra will have strong northwesterlies and high cloud, reaching up to 24 degrees. Going further south, Balclutha, Gore and the Catlins will all face northwesterly gales and rain, with highs around 18 degrees. Across to Invercargill, rain is developing tonight with strong northwesterlies and a low of 12 degrees. Tomorrow, brace for gale force northwest winds and periods of rain. The rain will ease to showers later in the day with colder southwest winds. On Sunday, expect showers to clear with sunny periods and strong cold southwesterlies decreasing. Finally, in Dunedin, high cloud and freshening northerlies are expected tonight with a low of 11. Tomorrow will be fine with high cloud and milder conditions, but watch out for strong to near gale north to northwesterly winds. Some rain is expected to develop tomorrow night. Sunday will see early showers clearing, becoming fine later in the day with strong near gale southwesterly winds slowly decreasing. Temperatures will be cooler with a high of 16 and a low of 10. And that's the news this Friday. For the latest news and videos from the Southern region, head online to odt.co.nz. You can follow Channel 39 on YouTube to catch our news bulletins on demand, or follow us on Facebook. Search for The South Today NZ to see our favourite stories from around the regions. We'll see you again next week. Mā te wā.
Public interest journalism funded through New Zealand On Air.
The South Today Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with MoleMap, the skin cancer detection specialists.